Hello, fellow safety and health professional, and welcome to another podcast in a series of podcasts based on an article in Safety and Health magazine that's all about you. 2020. What a year. I'm sure that, like me, you hope 2021 is less dramatic. It's been hard not to focus on the misfortunes so many people around the world have suffered. From massive fires, storms, violence, a plague still raging that has killed hundreds of thousands of humans and is getting worse, economies falling apart, and all kinds of nasty disputes and disparities. No doubt this has been a year of unprecedented despair. However, 2020 has also been a year of immense human compassion, courage, and service. Here's some wise advice from Mr. Rogers. Actually, it's from Mr. Rogers' mother. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." How true. Even during the most perilous times, there are rays of light and hope flowing from those dedicated to helping others and risking their health, safety, and family ties to serve a higher purpose. I encourage you to look for helpers and other positive aspects of our trying times. It's not in our nature to do that. Humans are more apt to notice adverse events because they signal danger, which alerts our survival instincts. A Boy Scout helping an older adult across the street is not going to grab your attention like a 3-alarm fire, because instinctively you know fires can harm you. That's why fires make the headlines more than Boy Scouts. Making a concerted effort to look for good news is a tangible way to help you cope better when times are tough. Now, I just finished watching a documentary on frontline medical staff and what they are going through, how much fatigue they have. And, it's a constant barrage of people coming in, and many of them having, horrible outcomes, including death, of course. Now, it was heartwarming to watch this, but it was a bit heart-wrenching too. But it lifted my spirits and gave me a sense of hope rather than the despair I sometimes feel when I watch the, quote, news. Another tactic that helps during trying times is to reflect on how you can learn from the situation. We've all had things happen in our life that have been, distressing and hurt us emotionally, maybe even physically. But we can learn from them if we're willing to do that, to think about it and try to see how it can make us better. I know you've heard this saying before, and there's some real truth to it, that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Any challenge you have, if you overcome it, you will be a better person, at least in some area of your life. Now, if you get upset because you've lost your job or you can't visit your parents, it's understandable, but just getting upset doesn't help in any way. However, you can use the situation to improve your coping skills or an aspect of your character. It's for us safety and health professionals, we know about this, it's similar to root cause investigations. You can learn from harmful incidents, even though you wish they didn't occur, but you'll have a better setup so they're less likely to occur in the future. And sometimes, in fact, many times, the process of how you work gets better. Now, in this case of the COVID shutdown and all the crazy stuff that's been happening this year, for me personally, I've become more empathetic of other people's suffering. And now I think I show more compassion. So how about you? What has 2020 taught you? What have you learned from all this that can help you grow and improve as a human. In the last few months, I've started regularly thinking about and saying these three axioms. Rise above it. This too shall pass. And pay attention to your breath. As probably like you, I've had some crazy stuff happen, some real challenges in my life, personal life and in my professional life. And these three sayings have helped me to handle this. Let's start with rise above it. Whenever I start to get upset about something, I remind myself to step back and evaluate the situation objectively, rather than get caught up in my emotions. I spent Thanksgiving at home with no outside, when I say no outside, it was just my wife and I, family members. At first it bothered me, but then I stepped back and I thought about it objectively and realized that my health and my loved one's health is more important than a day of celebration, and that we're actually showing compassion for each other by not getting together. Also, I realized I'll appreciate, and I'm so looking forward to next Thanksgiving more than ever. The second saying that I keep on bringing up in my mind is, this too shall pass. Now, I've used this one for years. No matter what is happening in your life right now and in the world, it will change. It will go away. Impermanence. There's no doubt about it. Of course, that includes the good stuff. You're having a great time. Everything is going well. You have a great Thanksgiving, which is why you should cherish your happy moments. Years from now, we will look back on these turbulent times, can't wait for that, with mixed emotions, but not with dread, because they will have passed. 2020 will be just something we'll think about, write about, say, can you remember how horrible that year was? But we won't dread it. It won't be something that is a future thing that we're worried about, because it'll be gone. Now, on a more personal level, and this is why I've been using this expression for myself for years, realizing the impermanence of my feelings has helped me handle depression, fear, negative moods, because I know they will pass. Before I started thinking about this, about realizing that it'll pass, I would get depressed, let's say, or anxious, and I would feel like this will never go away. But now that I know it will go away, I can handle it better. It doesn't bother me near as much. And the last axiom, the last thing, I've been writing about this in All About You probably 4 or 5 different times, and it's still worth mentioning, is to pay attention to your breath. And this is a millennium-old wisdom. Whenever you get upset, stop and pay attention to your in and out breath. I've read a bunch about this, maybe you have too, and there's all kind of research that this works. I know it does personally. The research behind this is steady. I haven't read anything that says if you stop when you're upset and you pay attention to your breath, your in and your out breath, that it doesn't help you, that it has no effect whatsoever. I mean, if there is anything out there, I would like to read it. On the other side, neurologists and people who are into research on stress and duress tell you that when you're upset, paying attention to your breath will calm you down. What's wonderful about it is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you start feeling anxious, slow down your breathing and just notice your breath going in and your breath going out and how it feels, and it will reduce your anxiety. Hopefully, 2021 will bring us much less to be anxious about than 2020. I wish you a most wonderful year too, and thank you for For those of you who are listening to my podcast, I can't believe it's going on 9 years. I enjoy them, and let me know if there's something you want me to include in my article all about you, because I would like to make sure that these are timely articles and that you are enjoying the podcast. Happy New Year.